Blast off.
So we could say it's a bit more professional than we were expecting.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Yeah,
We
okay.
we got a new flatmate who's a professional videographer.
Yeah, we're in Scott's safe hands here.
Yeah, which we were very much not expecting.
Yeah. We thought it would be me, you,
Yeah.
my like earphones,
And your little
one podcast.
USB Bundy mic.
Yeah, no Bundy mic, and our good pal Scott here has produced something miraculous.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great to be in
The Island Bridge Studio.
Island Bridge Studios. Yeah, the inaugural production. This is great. Okay, so I'm Bob, also known as Earthman Bob, and you are
Rosie.
Rosie,
Also known as Rosie.
and Albert Rose.
Alvarez.
Also,
Yes.
and yeah, thanks for joining me, Rosie. Thank you for this idea.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming up with this idea.
You're
So
so welcome.
we're in an artist circle together,
Mm-hmm.
and with a few other good friends. And I was talking to Rosie about my ideas,
Mm-hmm.
and you said I should do a podcast.
Yeah, I've just always thought you've got the most amazing ideas.
Love
And
that.
been following you for a while online.
Nice.
And it just feels like we're ready to make these shorter bursts of thought into big conversational thoughts. So,
Yeah,
well, that's what I saw. I was like, this
Yeah.
would be amazing to.
Yeah, I think so. You have fine taste. I do have, an idea or two.
Yes, you
We'll
have
say
a lot
that.
of great ideas.
Yeah.
Potentially the future president.
Oh yeah, the future president.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I have been. So I'm going to be summoned up in the future.
I think so.
Yeah, for that.
I'm manifesting that.
Yeah, okay. I'll have that. And so for this inaugural podcast or Bobcast, maybe.
Bobcast.
Maybe. We'll see about that. We're gonna dive into my little world
Okay.
a little bit. So for people who don't know, my name is Bob, but also known as Earthman Bob, and I am a poet astronaut from a future, a not too distant future, close future, where things went right, where we solved the big problems of our time. We figured out how to fix the rising seas and stop the roof from collapsing. This is all right. This is
awesome.
do a bit of poetry here. And I live on board a space station up there. And my job is to talk about what I see back down on the earth and help other people see. So that's where the poetry comes in. And yeah, I do what I do, spoken word poetry on stage and a few stage shows. But yeah, like I say, we want to take this time to dive into a bit some of these issues, ideas,
Big thoughts.
big thoughts. So yeah, without waffling too much about it, I want to talk to you today about from my world, Rosie, is storytelling.
Great topic.
Yeah,
So important.
absolutely. So I'm going to tell you a few stories.
I'd love to hear.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, first in particular, so the last time we talked was at our artist circle, maybe like a month and a half ago, and I mentioned I was having this kind of problem about my spoken word poetry and how I've been producing videos online, but I wanted to go out there and connect with crowds again. So actually, like 2 days after we had that last talk, I went to an event in UCD where some of my old colleagues from the political world in climate realm were doing a big talk in this beautiful big kind of amphitheater. Unfortunately, it was the same night as the Ireland football game was on, but what can you do?
That's a big deal here.
Yeah, big
I'm
deal with me
rooting.
too. God, I
Yeah.
can't believe it. The climate political people, they're not as clued in as to what's on the schedule. But anyway, there was a woman who spoke there, and her name was Mary Evelyn Tucker. And she is the head of, or the co-director of a school of spirituality and ecology in Yale. And at some stage I got up and did a few poems. It went pretty well. But she said something there that really struck with me. So I've been involved in climate realm things for like 10 years now. So like political organizations, activist organizations, Extinction Rebellion, Friends of the Earth, all this sort of thing. And she said something that I've been hearing for 10 years, which is we need a new story. So when I heard that, I was like, I've literally heard this for 10 years. When I first heard it, I was really inspired by it because I was like, oh yeah, story. I can make a story. So that's what I did. I kind of got on the ground and wrote this little story about Earthman Bob.
Amazing.
Yeah. So what I call a speculative narrative, speculative future. And like I say, I am a poet astronaut that exists in this speculative future.
Yeah.
And it helps people to understand. Well, I hope it helps people understand that what can go right if.
So diving into storytelling,
Mm-hmm.
and you're speaking with listening to this lady at the conference, what
Yeah.
do you think the current story is at the moment?
That's actually the crux of it.
Yeah.
What the story we're telling now
Yeah.
is it kind of it irritates me when they talk about this kind of stuff, because it's something that you hear in marketing a lot now.
Yes.
You know, like, oh, we need to tell a story. We need to tell this, our brand.
I know, especially with the world of AI now, it's just like we're so separated from being a human that everyone's trying to share the story of storytelling. But it's like the best way to tell the story is actually to connect and be part of the communities that express the story, you know?
Exactly.
Instead of just be like, I'm telling a story. I heard this amazing, I went to a conference of sorts, and this is a great example of shifting the story. Is in marketing they always talk about the consumer, and it's like, what does the consumer want? But if you shift the story and it's what does the citizen want, suddenly you're thinking, oh, I am a player in this sphere, this ecosystem, so yeah, it changes the way you think about it. So is that kind of where you're seeing the story?
Yeah, I mean, you actually kind of hit the nail on the head there, really.
Yes.
Because,
amazing. Well, we talk a lot, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, vibes align, like I always say.
Yeah, vibes align.
They do. But, but that's exactly it.
Yes.
So we have this story that places you as a consumer, as not a participant, not someone who's inside of the story. And it really annoys me because, when Mary Evelyn Tucker talks about the need for story, and the people that may be listening might see it in terms of, oh, basically, I have an endpoint where I'm trying to get you to. How do I persuade you to get there?
Yes.
Rather than let's make sense of the world.
Yes, and do it together.
And do it together.
Yeah.
So these are the two different ways of we can kind of say like stories have been approached, and like this way of the persuasion, the consumer, like it's obviously
Thinking
not working.
you're lacking something.
Yeah, you're lacking something, and I have it, and I just basically need to kind of like lead you by the hand to where I need you to go. Which kind of like tracks with climate change. I need you, if I see you as someone that just needs to reduce your carbon footprint, or just needs to be more sustainable, I'm taking you by the hand and leading you to this destination. But this other way of seeing stories is a much more, it's about making sense of the world. And like you say, there's other ways. So we might say from marketing, it might be like advertising, kind of basically trying to convince people, like we say, persuade people. But like I said, the other version of the story, the community-based story, is what I'm really interested in. So in my little journey in these 10 years about trying to investigate climate change, what the hell is going on, there's a guy called John Vervaeke that I've come across. So John Vervaeke is a cognitive scientist from the University of Toronto. And he has this one phrase, that's a clunky phrase, but I really like it. It's called psychotechnologies. And so psychotechnologies are basically a fancy way of talking, a fancy name for what we're talking about. Like a way that you use a sense-making tool that you don't just use, but like you inhabit. So it can be language, it can be ritual, it can be kind of like things like festivals and stuff. And
we should definitely dive into festivals at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's been so seminal for me in my existence.
Because it's, I should totally let you speak on that, because I love the way that you think about festivals as like a reflection of society. I've seen your work kind of talking about that. But carry on with the rituals of psychotechnology.
Psychotechnologies. Well, no, maybe not. It's just to kind of demarcate that there are these kind of ways of thinking about the story that we're trying to talk about in a more official term. But I think you're right though about the festivals. It's been so seminal in my work, in my experience, about trying to understand all these big, heavy ideas. And I guess, like I said, I've been treated as a sort of passive. This version of the story, when I was in university, first getting into climate change, even like when I was involved in politics and in activism, you're taught as the story is revolving around sort of this. Here are the facts and figures. This is how bad it is. We need to get this down. How do we convince people to do this? How do we sell them this story? How do we market? How do we make this more appealing? Rather than, and that was really heavy for me, like really existentially terrifying. but then, yeah, like I say, festivals, we go to a festival and I sort of experience what a life might look like outside of this industrial world that we've built. Everyone's off their phone, everyone's
Yes.
rolling around the muck, singing
Yeah.
songs and dancing together.
Yeah.
But there's also this colossal amount of waste
Yeah.
and consumerism. So it is like, and I guess all these things that I was trying to figure out was suddenly clicking. I was like, oh, here's that utopia. Oh, here's that dystopia. But I guess being around other people gives you a way of understanding it that is so difficult to do on your own. So it's kind of the antithesis of this consumerist model of making stories into things. But yeah, it's something that I've been like obsessed with. So over lockdown, developed the Earthman Bob story, and it's been good. But I guess I kind of found myself declaiming these truths to people, and it felt a bit weird. I just didn't feel like this is the way to go. You know, me standing up on my soapbox, telling people, "Oh, this is it. This is how this fits," and all that. So yeah, we're moving into installation space, actually, creating a space where people can come and exist in Earthman Bob's future utopia. So yeah, my little studio up in daylight at the moment, that's what we're building. We're building
Cool.
very lightweight Earthman Bob's lightweight inflatable spaceship.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then does that go to events?
Yeah.
And then you're talking about your ideas with people.
Um,
How does that all work?
Yeah, well, essentially, we're going to take it on the road for sure.
Yeah.
Work with my really good friend, collaborator, Sam Hatchwell, also known as Hoya, and develop the music for it. There will be a narrative, but I think what I'm convinced of now is that I don't want to tell people what the future is and how it works there. I mean, it helps me to know things about like psychotechnologies and, you know, Mary Levin Tucker and these different things. It helps me, but I know not everyone is into that. So I want to give people a felt sense of it, like
Yeah.
an idea of what it might feel like when everything goes right.
When you say go right, what do you think going right starts to look like?
The festival done right, I suppose.
The festival or the like life or
Well, no, I mean that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
It feels like when a festival goes right.
yeah, and you're like on the dance floor and you're rocking out. And
Yeah.
there's a term that you've used, collective consciousness. Is that the
Yeah,
term?
yeah, absolutely. No, sorry, collective effervescence.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
yes,
So collective
yes. Tell
efferve-
us about that because
Okay, I
I feel
will.
like that is maybe what as a collective that's what it feels right, not just on the dance floor, but when that transcends into like
Yeah.
the world, like that is like a feeling of yeah. Tell us about collective
Collective
effervescence.
effervescence, absolutely, yeah. It's a term by Emile Durkheim, a sociologist from like the 19th century, I think. But yeah, it's a beautiful term, collective. I actually first heard of it at Lecture Picnic. My friend, I was like, "What? That's a great word." And yeah, it's basically a term used to define this kind of thing that happens in a crowd when we simultaneously synchronize, and you all feel it. So obviously at gigs, festivals, but also sporting events, you know, everyone's singing in the crowd and everyone kind of feels like one. And I guess for me, and I would extrapolate this out a little bit. I won't say that Meryl Durkheim said all of this, but for me, that's what you build civilization upon.
Yes,
Is this collective sense of being
yes.
that speaks,
Working together and like
Yeah.
holding the space and
yeah, and feeling together.
yeah,
And like in that moment, I don't need to know about like John Vervaeke and Mary Evan Tucker. I don't need to know all this stuff. I'm there.
yeah.
I feel it. It's
and
in me.
you're listening to the same track, the same beat,
Yeah.
and you're in flow.
Yeah, you're in a rhythm.
Yeah, and then you're looking around the room and everyone's like, "Oh, you feel it, I feel it."
Yeah. People getting dabbed up.
Yeah.
People are hugging.
Yeah.
You know, it's great. I
And
love
then-
it.
What did you just say before? That's the essence of.
So that's called collective effervescence.
But then that's the essence of going back into the world when
yeah.
it's flowing.
Yeah. What I would say is probably that's like the building blocks of a civilization.
Yeah.
It's basically, for me, that word defines what it is happens when, because like the reason that humans are the prime species on the planet, we'll say, is that we collaborate, that we work
Yeah,
together. So
yes.
like Neanderthals actually had bigger brain, or they were at least stronger anyway, and they but we outlasted them because we were one of the reasons they postulate, we'll say, is that we're really good at working together. And it's something that gets lost in the milieu of sort of a capitalist world where we're trying to live individualist lives and maximizing profits and being sold to and selling to people because we're also just trying to survive.
And this comes back now to the story, because that's like this world of information, like too much information, too many stories driven by capitalists' incentives. Like no one knows what to follow anymore. So that's maybe where we're losing the story. Would you say?
Yeah, well,
Like
I think it's just
storytelling?
a byproduct of the story that we're now telling ourselves.
Yeah.
So there is a story that we're being told. I want to drop another clanger now.
Do it. Drop it.
I'll drop it. A thing called the industrial ontology.
Oh.
There we go.
Here we go.
Clang.
Yeah. Clang.
So industrial ontology is a great term to use when we talk about, since we'll say the Enlightenment in the 1700s, up until now, and it really took off during the Industrial Revolution, is this idea that we are separate from nature, that there is nature and there is us. And it's really interesting. I think if you boil it down to it now, I won't go too much into the kind of thing, but it kind of goes back to like René Descartes and his idea about, so he's the guy that said, I think, therefore I am.
Yeah.
And he first made this division. Well, he's the first one that kind of put it down on paper and it took off. And it's really interesting because it's really nefarious. It's really this idea that we are separate from nature gets in everywhere, and it even gets into climate activists and environmentalists because they think that there is a thing called nature that we have to save, and they don't realize that that's actually part of the industrial ontology. It's part of the same machine that sees the difference between the two. So even though they really want the best for nature, and I really believe, I work with them, I know them, I love many of them.
It's like they're still seeing them as separate.
They're still seeing the
Right.
separateness.
Yeah. So that's the storytelling gone wrong.
Yeah, so that's the story.
That's a good point.
But that's what's so beautiful about these moments when we do have
Yeah.
this collective effervescence. This other being
Yes.
arrives.
Yeah.
And we take the load off.
Yeah.
It's not so heavy now because I got all my pals and we're all dancing barefoot in this field or whatever. It's like, this feels a lot easier. I can deal with this. And it's something that I guess, this is always a tricky thing to bring up, but about religion. So religions were basically ways of harnessing the collective effervescence, of making sense of things, of creating a story and ritualizing it and creating, ceremonies and places, like mosques, churches, synagogues, where you come to generate this collective sense of our collective selves. But obviously, we know there's a lot of problems with that when you put all the power in one hand. And there's some interesting kind of research into like the psychological development of people that might be, say, enlightened, but they're actually not that mature. So one more clanger. I promise I won't do too many more
Bring on the
clangers.
clanger. It's good. They're all tying together.
Okay, good. That's good.
We know this term, collective evanescence. Did I say it right?
Is that the band? Wake me
No.
up inside.
Oh.
Evanescence.
What was it?
That's what you said. Collective evanescence.
But now we're bringing it back through
We
the
are,
story.
we are.
So they're good. They're good clangers.
The good clangers. Okay, good. So my go-to philosopher, Ken Wilber, I've been listening to a lot of his podcasts recently, and he talks about this idea of waking up and growing up. And waking up is something that religious, say like collective effervescence, religious people, you go to wake up, you go to see something. For me, that happened at festivals. I had these literal spiritual experiences where I was like, whoa,
me too.
yeah, cool. And it's just like an incredible experience. But then in the last 100 years, Ken Wilber talks about the idea of growing up. So growing up is a different thing. Growing up is like a thing that's been discovered by evolutionary psychologists and developmental psychologists. And a lot of them show how we go through different stages as individuals, but also as collective. We go through different growing up stages. So you could have a really woken up person that's in the spiritual light, but they might not understand that there are other people with other different perspectives, seeing a different way. So that's where things get a bit messy, where you could have people going around, the damned and the saved and the good and the bad and, the ins and the outs, even though they're like enlightened or whatever.
Do you think this then weaves back through our theme of storytelling? Is like that's where the story can also get so lost, is because we've got these different cultures, different religions. There's so much. There's so many people. It's going to be impossible to ever find the same story, really. But I guess it's just this age that we're in now of just like so much information, and we're glued to a phone. It's actually impossible to grow to a point of being able to actually try to see each other's different perspectives. Like, I feel like those chapters or those stages of human progress, it's like we have less time, we have less evolution that we're going through each month. It's like maybe, I feel like we're not evolving. I don't know, am I being too pessimistic right now? But
No, I
there's
think
like
you're
a
being
way.
human.
Yeah, I just wonder like how much phones and technology are actually inhibiting our evolution and our enlightenment because we're unable to get to those points as easily now.
Yeah, I think it's a really important point. As a point in my life in particular, it's a real ground war to get that thing away from me. The phone, like, it's really evasive.
It is. It's tough, man.
Yeah, really tough. I have to
That's what they've been designed for, though.
Yeah, and there's
So-
like armies of engineers that like are trying to redesign them all the time.
Yeah.
To make sure that you're always on them. So again, that's always a bit of compassion for yourself. You know, don't blame yourself too hard for it. But I think it's the ultimate expression of the individual world. It's just this little black screen that I can I can access pretty much all of human like knowledge.
It's taking us out of that kind of connecting with what's real and around us. That's what makes us humans.
Yeah, that's what we grew up in the Serengeti and, you know, the fields of Africa and beyond, and evolved not with a phone in our hand, around campfires and, like, you know, trying to make sense of the world in this embodied way. So it makes sense that it doesn't like make sense to us.
It makes sense that it doesn't make sense.
Oh, absolutely, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. It really does.
I kind of want to ask you though, but would you share your spiritual experience at a festival?
Oh, they have it all the time.
Oh, really?
I just feel like festivals are the most amazing place to just switch off. You hear amazing music. You're looking up at the stars. People are just so present. I love music. I get completely lost in music and dancing, and it's such a release. So, yeah, there's been,
But they happen all the time, you say?
I would say not all the time, but like often going to a festival and being on the dance floor, you can just like feel this like such a strong energy of like, we are all in this, we're the same being, like we are one, even though we're all doing different things, we all want the same things. And there's just these real moments of, it just feels quite like powering.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
It's real fuel for life. Like,
Yeah,
it's very
absolutely.
charged. You feel very charged after a good dance in a crowd or in the club or in a festival.
But do you think it's different in the club than the festival?
I think festivals can more feel like maybe an ecosystem of like a utopian society a little bit. Like
Sure.
everyone there, they're working together. You're seeing the like my boyfriend works in festivals, so we've talked about festivals a lot, and we go to a lot of festivals together. And yeah, just kind of the world. Oh man.
Yeah, no, it's great. I love it. Yeah, and I've worked with Josh a few different festivals, putting the festival on his back out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But then I think the club is more like a place people go to like unleash and really like find themselves in a different way. Like club culture, especially in living in Berlin, it's like you go to the club, and the right club anyway, you can just like really unleash your inner animal, and you can just let go. And I think so much is
it's interesting.
just said, and like you're looking at people on the dance floor, and you kind of feel this like oneness. So I think that's a big place of what we've been talking about.
Sure, that place where we're kind of we're almost like writing a story in this sweaty space between us.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily have a beginning, middle, of end.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be sold anything.
Yeah.
No one's trying to persuade you of anything.
Yeah.
But we are making sense of the world.
Yeah, yes,
We are
exactly.
in there.
You're in there, you all want to be there for the music and to have fun, and it's a safe space to just like let go. And I think that's really hard these days. Like everyone is on their phones, everyone is kind of just trying to make sense of things, and there's always a lot of like there can be walls up, especially when there's a lot of like public figures in the world now. We live in the world of social media and so many influencers. I just feel like when you're in the club and you're in an environment where you're not allowed your phones, especially, that was what's great about Germany, it's just like you really let go.
Right, they ban the phones.
Yeah,
in
you're not allowed
Germany.
your phones in there.
How do they do that?
Oh, like you can have your phone, but you have to cover up your cameras.
Okay.
So and it's just kind of like not like etiquette. There's a lot of like strong kind of dance and club etiquette there. It's like
Okay,
if you
okay.
pull out your phone, you start texting on the dance floor. If you're like
That's so
calling
annoying.
someone,
Do
yeah,
that.
that's like not really a vibe. So
Sure.
people kind of pick up on that. It's like
Yeah.
so yeah.
Okay.
But that really was an experience for me of
Nice. And do you have a highlight, like a top spiritual experience at a club or a festival? I've got one.
yeah. You share yours because I think more like just feelings. It's like I just have
Okay.
these kind of realizations and feelings. But I'm keen to hear yours.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell you then.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I had like big, like I say, I was coming back from England full of these heady ideas. Chocolate block up here, and then I went to it was like 2016 Electric Picnic, and LC Sound System was unbelievable, and like the whole James Murphy, the whole thing, it fell apart on stage, and he started giving out to everyone on stage to the beat of the song. So you couldn't really, you'd have to be kind of clued in to know, like, oh, he's not singing the song, he's kind of giving out to his drummer there, and he started giving out to the sound guy.
Really?
Yeah, he was
Like he was
tuned.
being serious though.
Yeah, but it was to the beat of his song, so it was kind of undercover, and he was saying it to the sound guy. This ain't no amateur shit, and tuning him through the different frequencies. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, and it kind of like stopped, and everything went like, kind of just went out, and then some other stuff happened, which I don't go into now. This is for another time, but basically, it kind of this collective effervescent thing. It just erupted off the crowd, and it was like everyone was bringing all their different experiences from the whole weekend, maybe the whole last year, throwing it into this sort of collective fire. And I saw this blue DNA strand come up off the crowd that James Murphy had sort of conjured up through this
You saw it.
for a very quick.
But it wasn't real.
It wasn't real, but Earthman Bob's story made it in there, and it was about this pulse. Yeah.
Up to the
The
space.
poles, yeah, and it's like we sent this like beacon up into the universe to let us know, like, oh, we're here.
Oh, I think when I was meaning spiritual experiences, I mean like deep feelings and like light bulb moments. But yes, this is like a real like.
Yeah.
You saw the angels and the gods.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
One
saw
of them looks
them.
like James Murphy having a freak out. Like,
Oh
it was
my
great.
God.
Yeah, and then I guess so it erupted, and everyone was like, wow, and it was so funny just before.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and just before so James Murphy kind of goes, oh, I love you guys. You know, he made it. Whatever the hell he was doing, it worked. And like, you could only get away with it in Ireland. The sound guy came over the sound of all the PA systems, and he goes, sure, as long as I've had my fun, that's all that matters. But everyone was still clapping and stuff, so you'd have to be tuned in to even know what happened. But anyway, it was incredible.
And you weren't just hearing it.
No, because the next day I thought I was hearing it right, because like, you know, maybe I wasn't. We'll say I'm not the most sober of mindsets. We'll say, but I was like, did anyone hear that? And half was like, no, what? And then one person was like, oh yeah, I heard that. I didn't write that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and that's a quote from Father Ted. There's a character in Father Ted who's like this piss artist priest who just takes the piss out of everyone, and that's his quote. Sure, as long as I've had my fun, that's all that
Wow.
matters. It was amazing. But I did have like an
Wow.
epiphanal moment. Like, there was this thing about rhythm in that moment. I had this
Oh.
idea that all of life is a series of rhythms.
Yep.
And
that
and that
as well.
became at the basis of like the Earthman Bob story. which-
Interesting.
yeah.
Should we dive into the rhythm?
The rhythm, yeah,
Like,
we will do.
Where do you think the rhythm's pulsing right now in life?
That rhythm. I think there's lots of different rhythms right now, and I think coherence is the problem.
Yeah.
So we almost have so much rhythm, we don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So that is what I would say is like, rather than like looking for the right, because like, you know, you go to Berlin or you go to the right festival, you know, these like incredible beings doing incredible things, collective, but they kind of, it's happening sporadically.
Like fragmented as well. There's like
Yeah.
a big rhythm here, and then there's like a rhythm here, and
Yeah.
everyone's like, we want to do it and change, but it's like
Yeah, and then you have the big capitalist rhythms coming in, and we all have to get
the
on.
big, and then we're the little waves. The little,
Yeah, just try and surf out here.
Yeah.
Let's get a little surf crew going,
Yeah.
and it's a great crew. But we get wiped out by these big
We get
kahunas every
bloody
now and
wiped
then.
out.
Yeah, it happens. And like even the guys that, you know, will say the biggest capitalist beast out there, like, I don't know, stockbrokers in New York or whatever. Even though they might be riding a big, you know, big old rhythm, I'd say their rhythms are shy compared to the rhythms we got going on. Do you know what I mean? Like,
they just have different rhythms. That's the thing. Everyone's just in their own worlds.
that's true.
It's
That's
like-
true. Do you know what? I will say this though. I'm gonna hit you with a little poem now.
Do it.
Okay. If I have one core pillar for my story that I'm trying to develop about Earthman Bob, is about rhythm. I think it's like a core principle of reality. and maybe tease that for the next one. But I will end on this. Maybe is that fair?
Yeah, that's
great.
great.
Would we tease that?
I think so.
Okay. We'll tease
That's
that.
a great shout.
Okay, so this is my little poem. So this was, I guess, birthed from that moment, LLC Sound System. I was like, oh wow, everything's running to a rhythm, and we are no different. From your work week to your heartbeat, from 9 to 5 to the, in and out, up and down, to the way the music plays, everything's running to a rhythm, and we are no different. Our rhythms are sung from the same hymn sheet that makes up the sound of everything. And that's not just some academic abstract fact. That's something that deserves playing with. There you go. That's my little ditty, as I like to call them. Which I may have messed up at the beginning of it, but look, más o menos. Yeah?
Más o menos, that
Más o
was
menos.
beautiful.
Oh, was it good?
And I think we've
Okay.
just created some rhythm of
Yeah.
some new thought waves for people out there.
Nice. That was good surfing with you, Rosie.
So good surfing with you. Yeah.
Okay, nice one. Okay, cool. Thank you, guys.